Connection with Shade Network activated. Audio file download commencing. Files marked extremely sensitive. Strategic Homeland Division only. Agent commencing transmission.
What's up, agents? You're listening to episode 157 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division 2. Today we're going to be talking about Gearsets and would we ever want a PvE Dark Zone? But first, my name's Mike, and join me as always as my co-hosts Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Hello.
Hope you guys are well and our listeners have had a great week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. Anyway, boys, have you been playing the Division this week?
No.
No?
Played Division 2 this week.
Yeah.
I meant as in the franchise, you son of a bitch.
That's not what you said though, is it? I know. Yes, I've played Division 2 a little bit this week. You?
A little bit.
Teeny tiny bit?
Teeny tiny bit.
Okay.
What,
Have you enjoyed what?
just curiosity, what hours are you guys on now?
I don't know without booting up.
Oh, look. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. They were both looking.
I feel like you were just buying time for us to do clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Or are you now doing buying time for that?
No.
About 120 hours at the minute. Rob, have you hit 400 hours yet?
No, I'm on about 250. I have started leveling my third character though.
Rob took a half day this week to play the Division.
No, it didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, it didn't. No, I did. I didn't play the Division.
You didn't play the Division?
No.
Did you?
I
Did you
took
sure?
a half day
Because I saw you online.
to watch Game of Thrones and then go pick my son up from school because it was his birthday.
You were definitely logged into the Division.
I was logged in on Uplay. I wasn't logged in on Division.
Said you were online playing the Division.
Well, it was lying.
Disagree. Luke.
150 hours for me.
I'm a whole 100 hours ahead of you, dude.
That's because when I go to work, I stay at work and then I go to sleep and I've got a dog to walk. You go to work for a few hours, come home, play Division, ignore your family, and then go to bed. Rinse and repeat.
True story.
Wow. It's going to be one of these days. Anyway, let's get down to some news, boys.
State of the game.
Okay, so there was no state of the game this week, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah. Yeah, he was messaging us earlier. I don't think this is a state of the game. I was like, hang on a minute. Pretty sure last week they said there's a Swedish holiday. Swedish bank holiday on a Wednesday. That's just weird.
That's just wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it definitely saved me some time this afternoon. So, I mean, kind of
What did you
grateful
do
for
with that half an hour that you would have watched the state of the game?
I made dinner.
Well done. What did you have?
A fry up.
Oh, God. Not this chat again.
For fuck's sake.
Fry up. What does it consist of?
No. Anyway,
Damn
let's
it.
get down to some fucking news. Okay, so for most of you out there, if you're on PC, you would have noticed a little thing actually got fixed this week, which was the loading issue.
Yeah, there was a little 50 meg update yesterday.
Did anybody notice it once it was fixed? Because I didn't.
I didn't, but when I logged in today, I did. I was like, holy shit, that was fast.
That's what she said.
I think I was doing something else. I was like, I'll just sort that out first. And then you were like, did you notice the game booted out quicker?
Yeah, no, I'm used to like hitting play and then looking at Twitter for a little bit and then playing. But I looked at Twitter and then it was working. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure last week, didn't we? I don't know if we joked about it on the podcast or if we were just joking about it off air, but it's like, yeah, normally I can go downstairs, make a coffee, come back up.
Yeah.
And the game's like just about ready to load.
I actually saw an interesting Reddit post about this. Well, a lot of people will not find this very interesting at all. But
Is it as interesting as your raid story?
Possibly.
And I don't mean as in the Division
someone
raids.
took the time to analyze what the game was doing what and why it was taking so long. And he said it was on Reddit. He said it was looking at like 21,000 different files before it booted the game.
So it was like it was almost verifying all the files before it was booting it.
It may have been like something left over. Well, this is what he thought. This could be completely wrong because it's just speculation, but it was like something that was left over from like a dev build, like a debug sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know enough about computer games and how they're made, but yeah. And it was trying to create like folders as well, and not being able to do it because of not having the right access. And then eventually just booting the game.
Thank you for that inside
You're welcome.
information.
You were right, by the way. Nobody found that interesting, Rob.
No, I didn't think they would. It's fixed now. Yay.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because I loaded into the PTS this week and that loaded up quicker than the main game.
Well, they must have fixed that first then.
I guess.
That was just as slow when I...
Was it?
Yeah.
It was a PTS. That's what they were testing, right?
Technically, yes. I feel like you're stating the obvious there, Luke.
That's what I'm here for, dude.
Making obvious statements.
That was my job.
No, you're the yes man, remember?
Oh, yeah.
See? Doing your job.
Mike's the elitist.
We're all elitists. Welcome to Elitist Radio. Anyway, there was a minor change from last week's Phase 2. Well, minor update to last week's Phase 2 discussion with regards to the mods. Frederick Thylander actually posted on Twitter that the mods will be changing. So there's going to be a slight nerf to blue mods, slight buff to orange endgame mods, and you shouldn't have to farm blue mods anymore. Luke, I know you had some quite big opinions on this last week.
Yes.
How do you feel about this change?
Steps in the right direction for sure. Depends what Thylander and everybody else at Massive's definition of the word slight is, as to obviously how big the nerfs and how big the buffs are.
Yeah,
but,
I'm still going to farm some blue mods.
Yeah, I think, Rob, you were saying pre-show you were on about get out there and farm your blue mods now.
Well, I'm going to.
But then I'm guessing that this is going to be retroactive across everything, isn't it?
Didn't we say last week that they were introducing blueprints for mods?
Yes, but they were very non-specific on which mods. It could just be skill mods. It might not be generic. I doubt they're going to give us a blueprint for a generic blue mod.
Okay.
That would be...
I mean, it would fix it, though, because everybody's... Well, yeah, but everybody's then got the chance to have them, haven't they? So it balances it out.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel
it wouldn't really be that silly, would it?
I thought that's what the... I thought that's the direction they were kind of heading with that anyway. That was the kind of like the whole point of here's a blueprint for these mods because it's going to save all these people from creating level 19 characters and going and farming them. Yes. Anyway, next bit of news: Gearsets. So obviously PTS is running at the minute, and unfortunately some of the Gearsets have leaked. Thanks to the PTS, I'm pretty sure Willis Gaming and MTash have also put out videos on these. But there's 3 Gearsets that have leaked. I don't know if these are actually to do with the raid or if we'll be getting these from other content. No, I don't think no one's actually managed to get this running on the PTS at all. Like they don't know where to farm the bits from.
No, they're not actually on the PTS. It's data mined from PTS.
So, it's data mined.
So subject to change.
No, I've actually seen them in the PTS. I was watching Willis Gaming video earlier.
Oh.
So you can actually see it in the game.
Well, maybe that's glitched then. I don't know. I didn't think they were actually in the PTS.
Well, they're definitely in there. We'll go over the first couple. The first one is Aces and Eights. The 2-piece is going to give you 20% weapon handling. The 3-piece will give you 20% accuracy. The 4-piece will give you 10% marksman rifle damage, and you will get Dead Man's Hand with the 5-piece, which is flipping a card by shooting an enemy with your marksman rifle. Headshots flip 2, Full House refills your weapon and stops ammo depletion for 10 seconds. 4 of a Kind grants 30% armor bonus for 10 seconds. Aces and 8s grants the next 5 bullets 100% damage. And the 6-piece, which is Sheriff's Favor, the effects of the Dead Man's Hand are applied to all party and raid members. This is apparently going to be used with the Sharpshooter specialization to give you access to the 5 and 6-piece bonuses.
all the leaked ones are specialization specific, aren't they?
Yeah. It also seems to be quite a bit of randomness tied to this gear set as well.
They're also very much a support.
Yes. Yeah, it's
like
something
all the gear sets are at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know if Thylander was out there saying something, but I kind of feel like they're trying to take gear sets in a different direction than they did with the Division 1.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from him saying that all the gear sets at the moment are support builds. The high-end builds will be your DPS, and these will be your support builds that will work in tandem with them. Which
makes sense.
It does make sense. But he also went on to say that there may be some DPS gear sets in the future.
Do you think that's what everyone's waiting for? Because there seem to be a lot of people, I mean, I know we haven't finished going through all of them yet, but there seems to be a lot of people hating on the gear sets that we've already got out there. And obviously these leaked ones.
Yeah, they are a bit underwhelming. Not going to lie.
It depends on your point of view, though. If you're looking at it from a support point of view or a specific kind of role, do you think it's still the case, or?
They're still very... what's the word I'm looking for?
Situational?
Situational, that's it. Well done, thank you.
Which is what we've been...
All the gear sets are very situational. I like them. I feel like some of the 2 and 3 pieces might get abused on what we're about to reveal, but hey.
Rob, do you want to take the second one?
Tip of the spear. So the 2-piece gives you 20% pulse skill power. What?
Go on.
The 3-piece gives you cooldown reduction. The 4-piece gives you protection from elites, and the 5-piece gives you crossbow bolts are equipped with proximity detonators. On impact bolts trigger a 9-meter pulse. That's impressive. And then the 6-piece, when killing an enemy, trigger a small pulse that will from their location. So can anyone remember it was like a passive talent we had in Division 1 where if you hit someone's head,
yeah, headshots gave you like a pulse.
It gives you like a little pulse.
Oh,
that's essentially what this is doing, I guess.
It was one of the agent talents that you unlocked, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's kind of cool that they've kind of reworked it into a gear set instead.
And this is for the survivalist specialization. So you have to run that to get all the bonuses.
And then the last one.
Negotiator's Dilemma. The 2-piece will give you 10,000 armor on kill. The 3-piece plus 30% health. The 4-piece is plus 30% explosive resistance. The 5-piece is Blowback, which launches a grenade at the target that depleted your armor and can occur once every 3 seconds. And the 6-piece is called Press Home the Advantage. Explosions caused by the player stacks a Bombardier buff. Each stack grants party and raid members plus 10% explosive damage, and the player with the 10% armor for 10 seconds. The final 2 perks on Negotiator's Dilemma are exclusive to the Demolitionist specialization.
Thoughts on those two?
That one seems quite underwhelming, I'll be honest.
It kind of feels like they're pushing you to use a different skill.
The three piece is going to get abused in PvP. Saying that now.
Yeah, plus 30% health.
Is health really that important in PvP though?
Yeah.
But then you're losing out on 3 pieces of damage or something else.
3 pieces is a lot. I can understand why people are quote unquote abusing the 2-piece
But the
true
PTS
patriot.
this week there's been a lot of tanky, healthy armory builds, right? So if you've got 10,000 armor on kill plus 30%, say I've seen people with 200k health, 30% of that is a lot.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, really, isn't it? And then
although we don't know, the thing about this thing is that with the current gear sets we've got, they've all got like not set stat rolls, but if you look at a True Patriot set, the certain attributes will always be the same on those pieces. It depends on how they spec.
Yeah, it depends what the attributes are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you always get, damage to elites on the mask for a true patriot.
Not always. You get crit chance as well. But it's always a damage and health.
Damage and, yeah.
And like with ongoing directive, you end up having a very high skill power build, like because there's lots of utility roles. So we don't know what the static roles are going to be. That could define these sets more than the actual talents themselves.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see more pulse builds. Like we're already seeing that at the minute, but the tip of the spear with that 2-piece 20% buff is going to jump a lot of people's builds as well.
Spotter's getting a buff as well, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'll be honest, like that 5-piece sounds interesting. The electromagnetic trigger crossbow bolts are equipped with proximity mine detectors on impact. Bolts trigger a 9-meter pulse. That's kind of cool. It's kind of like you can have preemptive crowd control.
Yeah.
Like for your damage dealing, if you know what I mean. So if you've got some coming towards you, it's going to trigger, and then like you don't have to have your skill on cooldown. It's going to automatically do it.
Yeah, I can imagine this being useful in the raid.
Yeah. But I can imagine all of them being useful in the raid, but that's how I feel we're looking at it.
Yeah. If we can get a raid team with all 6 gear set, like have 6 people running all the gear sets, and then just have 2 DPS people, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Might be the only way to go.
Debuffs and buffs stacked.
Yeah, depending on the mechanics that they're bringing into the raid, like Mike said, it might be actually required. I can't think how they would work that in, but
well, this is it. We don't know.
I can't imagine it will, because that would make matchmaking a nightmare.
Yeah, true point.
We shouldn't have matchmaking on the raid, though.
Matchmaking, everyone's running True Patriot.
They will have matchmaking on the raid, 100%. Everything else in Division 1 was able to matchmake.
Everything is matchmade in Division. That's kind of their stable.
It's all right. It's all right. You're shaking your head, Mike. But some people haven't got 8 people to play with, so they would never be able to play the raid. So
I haven't got 8 people to play with. Don't fucking give me that shit.
Yeah, but we would be able to find 2 to fill our current team of 6. That's not necessarily an issue, but
can we?
If you're a solo player that only plays solo, you're going to be in a fucking big mess if you can't matchmake for the raid, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but it's just funny because like Twitter was like a bit of a shitstorm this week, and I know that's like an echo chamber of people's opinions, but you're like, oh great, these builds are terrible again. Why would I bother running them outside of my DPS build? And it's like, well, it's to give you like a different. It's just a different way of running things.
Different way of playing, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is. Christ, if you can use one of these and get through like a heroic mission
Have you guys
Solo.
got all the current gear sets? Have you played with them all?
I've played with True Patriot and was it Ongoing Directive or whatever it's called. I haven't got all the other bits to craft the other one that's name completely has gone out my head.
Wired.
That one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I've got 2 pieces left to collect.
By all accounts, that one's the worst of the 3, so I'm not that bothered, to be honest. Once I get the pieces, I'll craft it so I can say I've got it because I'm a completionist, and I'll keep a build of it and then stash it away and probably never use it. But
I haven't put one together yet. I'll admit that. I've definitely used the 2-piece in, like a lot of people. The one thing that throws me is the fact that people are running conflict with a 1-piece ongoing directive.
What does that even give you?
I don't know.
Weapon handling.
no, wasn't it? Yes,
No.
no, it doesn't give you anything. But didn't you say
It doesn't give
yesterday
you anything.
it's for the higher chance of crit chance roll, Rob? Because the gear sets have got the
Possibly, yeah.
highest
It's not a
roll.
mask.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have high crit chance,
You can get 9% crit chance, I think, on a gear set roll.
which when it's normalized is like, 4.5, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
when you break it down like that, it doesn't really sound worth it. But I'm sure there's maths
No.
behind it.
but I'm kind of with Luke. I'm hoping to get like a set of all of them and try them out for myself and have my own
If you
kind
have
of
enough
opinion.
stash space, that is.
Yes, we need more stash space.
You
No,
need
we don't.
mules.
You need mules. That's what you need. Make another character, or do a Rob
have.
and make 2 other characters.
I've made 3. Still don't have enough space.
We shouldn't need to create 3 other characters for storage. It's terrible.
You shouldn't need like 250 pieces of gear, but you've got them.
I disagree. Like,
Yeah, but we, being seasoned Division players, know that the meta
please.
changes like the wind. So we know that if we get rid of this one piece that seems shit right now, tomorrow it could be fucking God roll.
But there's the beauty of the Division. Everything you do gives you loot.
Well,
Just fucking farm for it when they change it tomorrow.
No, I
Yeah,
still think
but then-
shit.
There's so much it could take you 6 months to get that piece back again.
Disagree.
It's definitely interesting because like people aren't really running gear sets, like full builds anyway. I think we've seen 1 or 2 teams. I think I've seen like 1 team in conflict this week. I was like,
Yeah, but
No,
There
we
it-
saw 2 guys running True Patriot conflict.
they were
And
the true patriots of that match.
we annihilated them.
you're talking about PvP now, though, aren't you? And these gear sets, you've said yourself, are primarily support builds.
Support builds, yeah, but
You aren't gonna run them
support
in-
works in PvP.
Yes, it does, but most people don't play PvP that way, do they? Most people.
No, but I did put out a
But
tweet.
it could be aimed in that direction.
I did put out a tweet basically asking people, what are people running? Are they running gear sets? Are they running like a mishmash? Are they running like a complete
Hybrid?
yeah? And the prevalent thing Rob's talking about diversity is everybody's running whatever the fuck they want. They're not running gear sets, and I think it's kind of a good thing that the gear sets aren't undermining everything else that they've done so far, especially with the game being out just over a month. Can you imagine that, having all these like brands and gear pieces just to kind of go, here's gear sets, and that would completely fuck it up.
Do you think we will get PvP gear sets in the future? Because all the gear sets at the moment,
I feel
sorry
like that's
to say,
a PvE.
they are all
yeah.
PvE based.
Yeah. Being honest, I don't know.
That's a no then.
I would like to think so, but it depends what they're calling a PvP set. If it's the Banshee set from the Division 1,
No, that was a Dark Zone set.
well, maybe I'm thinking of it from the Dark Zone then. I don't know. I was just thinking that's the only one I can think of from a PvP standpoint.
It was a Dark Zone set that kind of promoted you to engage in PvP, though, didn't it? The Banshee set. So
Agreed, but it wasn't.
What if there was a gear set available that only came from
The Dark Zone or
skirmish
PvP.
caches?
Yeah. I think there would be a lot of people complaining about that,
Yeah.
which is
Why?
unfortunate.
Why?
Because I feel like in this day and age, everyone feels like everything should be handed to them on a silver platter.
Why would it be a problem if there was a PvP gear set being given out from PvP? Why would that be a problem?
Because I want everything.
Yeah, but it's not going to help you if you're a PvE player. It's not going to help you at all. You're not going to lose out. You're not going to lose out on
What if there's lore type
accommodations
to the gear set?
or anything from getting it?
I don't have a problem with it. You know I don't have a problem with it, but I'm trying to think of it from the other side. You know people would not like that.
Well, they're wrong. I think because, yeah, I think that would be a great thing. Like even an exotic that way, like a random drop from a cache that you earned in PvP.
Can you imagine that though, Rob? They drop a gear set like I don't want it to happen, but something like Strikers, and the only place you can get it, and the only place it's viable.
It would no, because Striker was viable in PvE and PvP.
Yes, and I'm about to say it's not viable in PvE content. So it's like that's it. It's disabled in outside of the Dark Zone and Conflict.
Like Sentry from Division 1 when they turned it off.
Yeah, but you can only get it from the Dark Zone and Conflict. Okay? But the irony is everyone will be chasing those gear sets, but then you kind of bring in balance to those areas as well.
Balance
because
to the
everybody would just end up running the same build. Kind of what happens anyway in games like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea.
Would I be surprised for it to happen? For us to have PvP gear sets? No. Do I think it should be tied to PvP areas? Yes. Definitely. I don't know
it's
if
not
Luke
going to
agrees.
happen anytime soon because the game is very PvE focused at the moment.
I think they're waiting to see how things kind of settle down in a couple of months first. Especially with we're going through like a huge balance. Well, I say huge balance, but like there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes at the minute that we don't know about, especially from a statistic point of view. And they're going to be seeing shit that we can't see. And you know, the meta's still evolving, still changing. You've just introduced a gear set and everybody's running it in PvP. What happens when they introduce one of the next three? Like Rob said, you know, you've got the 30% additional health, you got a 10k armor on kill. That could be the next thing in Conflict or PvP in general.
But then they've also got the fact if they take too long to work things out, like a lot of people think they are, people will just stop playing the game. And then they will have no one to test shit and no one will care because no one will be playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, there is that point. I mean, I'm kind of like a true believer. As much as I like both sides of the fence with regards to PvE and PvE, I always kind of believe that PvP players maintain PvP games. You think games like Battlefield are still running now? No one's playing the story continuously, are they?
Someone is.
Well, yes, someone is. But you think people keep games alive? I'm thinking like Destiny, you know, or the Division 1, you know. From the Division 1's point of view, there was quite a lot of people that played PvP every day because there was nothing else to do. That was the end game in the Division 1. Even though we had, you know, Resistance, Underground, and all the rest of it, we were getting our gear to go play PvP. Which I think why we end up in this huge shitstorm debate half the time. Which I kind of guess moves us on to our next topic or discussion for today.
What's that, Mike?
Okay, so we put out a tweet, what was it? 25th of April, and we said, we need your help, folks. Is it time we had a PvE-only Dark Zone? just to kind of preface this as well, this isn't us saying what is right or wrong. This was us trying to find out where the community lies in response to a very nice article that our good friend Paul Tassi put out, saying players are shouting for a PvE Dark Zone.
When you say good friend,
yes. Friend of the show.
Have you spoken to him?
That's a negative, Ramos.
Complete fucking asshat.
I don't even know who he is, so can't really call him a friend.
We've only discussed several topics he's put out there over the last 3 years. But hey, Luke, I'm going to go straight to you on this one. Do you think we should have a PvE Dark Zone in the Division 2?
We've already got them. We've got 2 of them. You don't need any more. The normalized Dark Zones, there's no PvP happening in them at all. So you've got 2 PvE Dark Zones.
Dude, there's no one PvP in the ODZ.
Well, there is. We've been in there and done it, so that's kind of a lie, but...
Technically, this week, it was us killing ourselves. Or each other, should I say.
Yeah, but it's still PvP.
That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Stoifen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luke for letting me get to max rank.
I don't even know what that was about.
Without me even doing anything.
No,
I don't even know.
I can't remember why I dropped team to try and kill you, and then it just lasted for 2 hours, didn't it?
Yeah, he just fucking, right, fuck it, I'm dropping team. I think I pissed you off or something. You were like, right, that's it.
Yeah, you were being a dick, so I thought I'd put you on your ass, but then you killed me first. So, but back to the subject in hand. To give you a serious answer, no, there shouldn't be a PvE Dark Zone, because a PvE Dark Zone would just be what the open world is, without any of the risk that's associated with the Dark Zone as it is now. But I stand by my sarcastic answer that you've technically already got 2 PvE Dark Zones. So,
yeah, we have 2 Dark Zones, right? We have the baby Dark Zone, the one that's normalized.
Yes. This is Rob explaining Dark Zones. Go on.
And then we have the fun Dark Zone, where everything is good and fun. And you shouldn't be in the other ones unless
you got caught out by accident.
You've got a good reason for doing it. Or you've gone in there and thinking it was the ODZ and it wasn't.
Or the time is switching it over.
Yeah. If you were one of the 43% that said yay, add a PvE Dark Zone, you clearly haven't played the Dark Zone in the last 20 days. So go and do so, because there isn't much PvP happening unless you're looking for it. Unless you're really unlucky and you're trying to farm a control point or whatever they're called, and there's a team of 3 that tries to gank you over and over again when you're just trying to farm some.
Do you mean landmark?
Landmark, yeah, same thing. That's happened to me. Like, I was trying to farm.
You got ganked at a control point.
Because that's what you do as a PvPer in the Dark Zone. In the ODZ, that is. You look for landmarks to disappear, and then you go and kill the person who just took that landmark.
Yeah, but I think that's half the problem. Like, people want to go PvE in there, and the minute they go in there, they're like, I'm going to take down this landmark. And then they get their loot, and then obviously PvP players turn up because they're like, I want to kill shit. I don't give a fuck about PvE because I've already done my PvE. I'm in here to get some sweet kills. And that's, when you get teams ganking each other. Well, not necessarily each other, but you know what I mean.
I just feel like people have got the wrong mindset when, I don't know.
The way I kind of look at it is it's a PvP area with optional not even optional, with PvE as well. Like, you're going to get loot aside from just killing each other, but it's part of the whole loop of the Dark Zone, isn't it? You go in there, you get loot, you extract it, and there's that chance and there's that risk of being attacked by another player. And without that...
And if you don't like that risk, go on the other DZ, because then you'll know when they've gone rogue. And you can either run away...
Go run missions. Go run the open world. I've been running control points and the blockades and the other awesome stuff that they've put out there in the open world.
But that's part of the problem.
There's so much to do out in the open world.
But then the Dark Zone being a massive part of the first game was because the open world was so barren.
Yes.
And there wasn't much to do there, so everyone just went to the DZ because if you wanted a farm loot, it was the best place to do that. But there was that risk.
And it was twice full because it was the only place to farm loot. There was no landmarks, and
it was
missions.
it was constantly populated because of that reason. But now we've got a really good LZ,
which is why nobody's in there.
Which is why no one's in the DZ yet. Which they're trying to combat with the whole 515 thing.
And then the brackets.
And the brackets, yeah. Which might fix it for a while. I don't know. They might have shot themselves in the foot a little bit. By making the game too good.
Plus you've got conflict thrown in as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, conflict... It's up and down. It's definitely hit or miss when you play matches in that game mode. But if you're on a good roll and you want dedicated PvP, it's there, and that's what people want. But you don't have the same experience as something like you would have in the Dark Zone. Nothing like you would have in TD1, because you just wouldn't have those unscripted moments. I think that's what people are looking for.
Skirmish, I think, at the moment is a little bit broken. Because you can't take the variation of builds that we have into a dedicated PvP mode. It just doesn't work. Like we've played a lot of it recently, and yes, it's fun sometimes. Like one night I just like, no, this isn't fun. I'm just not going to play. And that I generally think it's because of the variation of builds there is. I don't think that Skirmish works with it. I don't think it's compatible with that variation. I think they should just like give us operators.
Yeah, give us set builds and loadouts.
Yeah. And it'd be skill based.
But then people would complain that they can't take the builds that they've worked on into.
I know it's
conflict.
normalized, but that only goes to a certain extent. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the min-max, when they've raised the bar for how normalization affects your build in a minute. And obviously with the recalibration changes and all the rest of it, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of affects, especially conflict. I haven't really spent that much time in the normalized DZ, so I can't really talk about that too much. But yeah, I can definitely see what you mean. I mean, Christ, one of the things I don't understand about conflict is the fact that the boost goes to the winning, like it normally goes to the team that's basically slaughtering, isn't it? Yeah. I don't understand that. Surely you would just automatically give the boost at that time to the team that's losing.
Yeah.
Because it's giving them a comeback, a chance to kind of get back in the game.
I disagree with you on that, but not to the point where I would disagree with you and say that they're doing it the right way. Well, I think that it should just be completely random where it spawns. It shouldn't favor one team or the other, because if you're the losing team, you could literally be losing by 1 point. And if the right buff turns up at the right time, that's it. The entire game swings on where the buff goes.
Okay. I can understand that. So maybe keep it the same depending on the score. But if the score's like, I don't know, completely out of whack, then it should really.
Yeah,
go
if you're
to
about to mercy, it should be weighted towards the team.
I'd be
that's
okay
about
with
to mercy.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that happening. But I just like the idea that the bonuses can just drop anywhere. Much like the specialization ammo, when that turns up, that just spawns anywhere on the map, doesn't it? From the helicopter or whatever drops it in the parachute. But the little boost boxes, I think, should just be RNG anyway. Just be wherever they spawn. There's enough of them on the PvP maps that they don't have to spawn right behind the winning team all the time.
No, and the spawns need to flip a lot quicker than they do.
Yeah, I think that is something they're aware of, though. They get told about that enough times on Twitter. So
yeah, I think the amount of times that somebody's took the control point in domination, which is normally outside someone's spawn point, it needs to be flipped immediately or within like a minute or so. But kind of getting back on track, Luke, were you surprised at the poll results that we actually had on Twitter? So we had 43% say add a PvE Dark Zone, 57% say don't change it, and that was out of almost 400 votes. I think we were out by 2.
No, sounds about right.
50-50 split.
Well, it wasn't, was it?
It's not far out, you know what I mean? I thought it'd be a lot lower than that.
It's close to the Brexit vote.
Oh, God. No, it sounds about right. I mean, if you make it solid numbers, it was 40-60 split in favour of keeping PvP the way the Dark Zone the way it is, wasn't it? So, I mean, I don't want to say it was all PvEers that voted for a PvE Dark Zone. As much as that would make sense, it might have just been some PvPers saying, yeah, give them what they want, get them to shut up. To me, it just feels like people want what they know they can't have. The devs have already said time and time and time again till they're blue in the face, you're not having a PvE Dark Zone. It's our Dark Zone. We've made it the way we want to make it. Stop asking for it. Fuck off and shut up. And people still voted for it.
So it is a PvE Dark Zone.
And the irony is that it got one yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the irony is you need to get in there and play it now before it changes.
Yeah.
I agree with Rob, though. I think they've made the open world and the amount of missions you can do and the strongholds and that good that people have found themselves more addicted to PvE than they thought they ever would be, myself included. I've happily played PvE since the game came out, apart from the last couple of weeks where we've been dipping our toe into the DZ and
the replayability. It's just insane.
The amount of loot that you need, because the amount of builds that you can make. The replayability, like Rob says, and then the fact that it keeps changing week on week. So that
the 3-week rotation, isn't it?
Yeah, the invaded stuff keeps moving around, which gives you a unique spin on all the missions and strongholds and stuff.
If you're a casual player, I can imagine you just be tanked with the amount of, like, because every week you have to take back DC, you have to do all your the tree of high value targets, the
bounties and all
bounties.
That,
that's what I was looking for. Yeah, the tree of bounties, that takes us. That's a night. That's one night. But if you're a casual player, that could take you a week. Then you've got to take back DC every week, invaded wise. That's a night.
There's the blockades
for
and
us.
other
That's a
missions
night
to
for
do.
us. So that's like another week for someone else.
Then do you think they're doing a good job to introduce PvE players to the Dark Zone? They're doing enough. Is that the problem?
Yeah, well, you got the baby Dark Zone.
There's 2 of them,
Oh
right?
yeah, 2 of them. Sorry.
There are, I would imagine there is a certain population of the PvE crowd, and I hate that we keep having to describe people as PvP or PvE, but for the sake of making a distinction, I'm going to carry it on. I would imagine there are a portion of the population of the PvE crowd that won't go into the Dark Zone regardless of what they do to it, because they just don't like PvP. And the fact that PvP is enabled in the Dark Zone just turns them off. We've had a guest on this podcast before that refuses to go in the Dark Zone. I'm not going to name him because he perhaps doesn't want to be named, but he's open about it on Twitter if you want to find his tweets. He's like, I'm a completionist. I can't believe I've got to go in the Dark Zone to find the recordings. I don't want to do it. Don't force me to do it. What more can people do to get you to go into the Dark Zone, even for just a tiny, teeny little bit?
I think that side of it is kind of sad, that the fact that you've got like lore and all the rest of it tied to it, and people are worried about going in. But
I don't think it's a shame that lore's tied to it. It's part of the game. Therefore, there should be something about the game in that portion of the game. But I don't see the problem with there being some lore tied to the Dark Zone. If there's no lore tied to the Dark Zone, why the fuck is it in the game in the first place? It wouldn't make any sense.
Well,
it's what made the game unique. I don't understand. If you're playing this game, why would you not embrace that? I really don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've seen a couple of ideas actually pop up on that thread. So one of them was, would you go along with an idea of switching between a PvE and a PvP Dark Zone? So you actually had to choose? Because I know that's something like, what was it, World of Warcraft and Star Wars The Old Republic, you can actually choose PvE and PvP servers.
No.
Would you be open to that?
No.
No? What about if they did actually implement a PvE Dark Zone? Obviously, you've got no rogues in there. Instead, you replace with highly difficult NPCs and hunters. But then I'm pretty sure we've discussed hunters before. We're kind of from the mind that hunters should be used
sparingly.
Sparingly, yeah.
Agreed.
So it's difficult. It's not to shortchange the PvE players that, disagree with it. It's just, you read a lot of the comments. I mean, one of them's like, pointless debate. Like Rob's just said, DZ, what would be the DZ without the PvP element? It's all about risk. I think it should be left the same. Someone saying, can you ask a serious question now? Thank you. Someone else saying, no, just make the DZ like Division 1 again.
Which version, though?
1.3, I think, specifically he stated. And someone saying, because the other 97% of the game, PvE, isn't enough. No, we need to be at 99%. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that does raise a good point, doesn't it? Why turn one of only 2 PvP-centric areas into PvE only when you've got the rest of the entire game that is PvE only?
It's kind of interesting because you've got like PvE players going, we need a PvE Dark Zone. And I'm saying it's probably not even a vocal majority. I don't know. If it is, let us know. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on it. But it's kind of funny because everyone's like, we want to go in the Dark Zone, but we don't want to do PvP. And it's funny because the PvP players are like, well, PvP's shit, so I'm not going to go in the Dark Zone. I'm not going to play the Dark Zone because it's pointless.
Yeah, there's two.
It's like they're both on this like weird path, yet just go in there. You can get the loot, you can get kills if you want. And the way anyone, like someone was complaining, that was the main thing I saw complained about with regards to the Dark Zone, is the fact that anyone can put a build together. Anyone can put a build together and you can kill someone now. I actually saw that from a PvP player, and that was their comment. And I was thinking, well, how is that a bad thing? How is that a bad thing if someone else can put a build together and kill you in the Dark Zone? It's fair play on them. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it. Anyway, enough on that. I think.
Yeah, I'm just getting myself wound up.
I was
about to rant.
Trying to think of a good counter argument for why it was a bad thing, and I can't.
I'm not. I think that's the good thing that they've done for the game is they've made. This is what I'm talking about with brands. Like, we're playing Conflict, and we're like, okay, I've done this build. And then you go up against someone in Skirmish, and they're running something completely different to you, and you're like, holy fuck. And then you're like, oh, I might switch a couple of bits over and try that out. And I think, like Rob said, the diversity is working so well that you can just go into the Dark Zone and try the same thing. Go run the normalized Dark Zones if you're a beginner player.
Baby Dark Zone.
Yeah, go have fun because it means nothing. It means nothing when you can get loot everywhere else as well. The loot's no better at the minute.
Bearing in mind that the loot in the Dark Zone most of the time goes straight into your bag.
Yeah.
If you get ganked, if you die, doesn't matter.
Because it's in your bag.
Because it's in your bag.
Yeah,
And you can't nick it.
It's in your mailbox.
That's a change from Division 1 to Division 2 that did make it a lot more
Yeah.
farmer friendly, didn't it?
Which I don't understand why people are bitching. Like, why are you scared to go in the Dark Zone when statistically, loot per hour, it's the best place to go. If you're farming even if you're farming for a more efficient PvE build, it's the best place to go.
And I can vouch, there's no one in there at the minute. There's
Yeah, but
literally-
even if you are in a Dark Zone with other people, just avoid them. It's quite easy to do.
I feel like I'm talking to Stevie Wonder right now. Rob's got his head all over the place, his hands are moving.
It's winding me up that people have got this opinion of the Dark Zone because of the first game, and they're just like scared to go in there. Just fucking grab your balls and go in there and find out for yourselves. Not make an opinion before going in there, because that's what seems like a lot of people have done. And just see what happens. Just see what happens.
And
The
don't think of
game
it.
is designed as a looter shooter, right?
Yes.
You loot to shoot, right? You get better gear to make yourself more efficient at looting more gear. To what end? Either play PvP or be hyper efficient at PvE, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Or be if you're a completionist to collect everything.
Hmm.
Got to catch them all, Pokemon. That is the end of the game. That's end game. If you're in the mindset of getting a gear set for PvP, then yay. Yeah, you. If you're in the mindset of getting a gear set for more efficient PvE, yeah, you. You can do that in the Dark Zone. That is the most efficient place to do that.
I gotta be honest though, like you look through the thread, and we've had comments like in Discord as well. You can't really take a stab at PvE players in general, because it's not everyone. It's not everyone. It's just a minority of people that seem to push for it. Because most PvE players that I've seen post and comment about this are like, no, leave it the way it is. I don't go in the Dark Zone. I don't PvP, but I don't want it to change, because it wouldn't be those places without that kind of, without the PvP in there. And it's fair enough. Like, so you can't solely take a jab at PvE players.
No, we're not. I don't.
No,
don't think
I'm
we
not
are.
on about.
I'm just
but,
saying, they've maybe have a stigmatism because of what happened in the first game. Like, maybe they've gone in the Dark Zone and they've been ganked, and people have gone, "Hey, noob," in their microphone and just like made them angry and rage quit. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
I do feel like this has come straight off the back of people angry about 515 gear dropping in the Dark Zone. And do you know what I mean? And
oh my god.
Well, we know now that it's not the only place that you're going to be getting that loot from.
Doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
No, it didn't
now,
matter
does it?
anyway.
No, it didn't. Because it's literally just an edge. It's an edge in PvP. It doesn't matter anywhere
If you're
else.
lucky, it's an edge.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you get a decent roll, you're lucky.
Well, look at people getting freaking weapons now and exotics at level 500, and they're dropping with less damage than they had originally. And that's at gear score 500.
Yeah.
Are you going to get anything better with 515 gear? It's a chance. That's
No.
it.
Majority of the time, it's going to be a no.
I do feel like that's where the conversations come from. And because of that, obviously, people have kicked up. And it's just, I think it's people misinformed about some of the changes and some of the shit that's going on, if you know what I mean. It's like people don't know that, you're going to get 515 gear from other places, even though they put it on the state of the game. Julian Garrity's out there talking about it on Twitter. People are just very quick to shout about
Because
shit.
they're trying to get people in the Dark Zone because no one's playing it.
Yes. Anyway, let's move on. That's it for news and discussions. So we're going to move on to questions and feedback. The first question comes from Agent Putt, who says, what are your guys' thoughts on the current meta of 397 and 577 builds? Don't you think there should be more incentive to invest more into firearms? And do you think this will change with Title Update 3 with the increased armor and health rolls? Also, if you answer my question, call me Agent Putt, as that's my name now. Not, don't make me Putt. Rob, I'm going to go to you on this one.
What? Hang on.
The question was, what are your thoughts on the meta of 397 and 577 builds? Like the setup, attributes, and all the rest of it.
I think they're really good.
Do you think they should be, though?
I think they're hard to achieve. Have either of you got either of those builds? Because they are hard to achieve.
Negative, Ramos.
I've got close to a 577 build, but I don't agree that a tanky build should put out more damage than a DPS build.
I don't think it will after the next update, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
The reason that a tanky build puts out more damage than a DPS build at the moment is the talent synergy, and with them changing how much attribute swing you need into the talents.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to synergize 3 or 4 damage attributes at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is something that I'm just like, you run. I can kind of understand it from one point of view. If you're a DPS build and you're running basically low health, low armor, you've got no skill power, and all you're doing is stacking into DPS, then in a way, yes, you should be put down. You should be putting down that other person. But if you get the jump on them and you're dealing way more damage, and they're not even looking at you or anything like that from that kind of point of view.
We had this conversation in the middle of the week, didn't we, Mike?
Yeah, we did.
Whereas I've got 2 builds, both AR builds. One is like 12 on damage and like 3 and 2 on the other stats. And then I've got one that's 477. They both do the same amount of damage. PvE-wise, they do a similar amount of damage once I've got all the procs procced on the 477 build. Per shot, per bullet, they do a similar amount of damage. But the difference is, with the 12-3-1 build, squishy as fuck. Whereas the other build, I have a stupid amount of sustain and a lot of armor and a lot of health.
Damage.
And I still have that amount of damage.
It makes no sense, and I don't understand that. And I understand things are being changed now on the PTS, but
that build is very hard to achieve and very hard to make and very hard to farm for.
It is to a degree, but you know how people play this game.
You can't make a shoddy version of that. You have to have pretty much spot-on rolls on all of the gear set, on all of the build, on all the pieces.
Yeah, but even
with a 12-2-1, you can have shoddy pieces.
Yeah, but even on like a half-assed version, you can still put out more damage to a degree and be more tanky.
Disagree.
You might not be able to proc everything, but I'm just thinking like there's been a few instances where I've come up against people. I've got like a vector build that I really like to use, but it's not sustainable at all. Especially in a group. Like if it's not sustainable in group play, you're like, well, what the fuck? So you switch to a different build and something along those lines, and it's kind of like, well, I don't really want to run.
Do you mean PvP or PvE?
I'm thinking PvP. And I'm guessing that's the kind of question, because I kind of feel it doesn't really matter in PvE too much. I mean, obviously the builds that stack into damage, those are the builds that you're gonna, you're DPS in, and then your team supporting and getting you back up again. I mean, looking from your point of view, Rob, because like you normally run DPS in our team, you're up front, you're in the face because you're probably running Berserk or something.
Yeah.
Luke, any thoughts on the current meta with regards to build?
No, I kind of agree with what you said. And then obviously just repeat what I said earlier with them. You know, our Agent Pot asks, do we think it's going to change in Title Update 3? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Because of obviously the talent synergizing that I mentioned earlier. My current PvP build is a 50% crit chance AR build, and it is squishy as fuck. If I attack somebody and they don't know I'm there, they're dead before they realize where I am. But if they know where I am, I'm dead within seconds. And
Luke is not a meta player.
yeah, and then when we're playing conflict, I'm always getting the most assists because I will put out quite a lot of damage, take away a lot of people's armor. They will kill me because I'm squishy as fuck, and then you guys walk around the corner and finish them off.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
That is the build I wanted. Somebody used it against me in the Dark Zone. I was like, ooh, almost max crit chance on the AR build. Yes, please. I'll have some of that. And farmed for it, built it, and then
he was owning us, wasn't he? But
yeah,
he had a good build synergy.
Yes, my build is not perfect. It's like 12, 3,
sorry,
2.
I mean he had group synergy with that.
Yeah, but mine. I mean, I could push for a little bit more crit chance. Definitely get some more crit damage, and then I could get a little bit more sustainability because I'm like 182k armor. You need at least another 40k on top of that, which I could get because I've got a couple of pieces rolled into skill power, which I don't need. Literally no use for it at all. So could get rid of some of those attributes, and it could be fine tuned a little bit. But by then, I would think Title Update 3 is out, and I can make some different builds. I'm not looking to make another build at the moment because I know TU3 is coming out. So why bother?
Yeah, that's really been pissing me off at the moment. I'm like, I want to make a build, but I don't want to roll anything because I know it's going to be a waste.
Yeah.
I still want to make a build.
We've been playing Conflict quite a lot this week, and we go in for a couple of hours at a session. I go in willingly at the start thinking, yeah, this is going to be great. Some more PvP with the boys. Yeah, let's go. And by the end of the night, I'm finished and quite frustrated because I've been dying a lot. And I'm thinking, right, tomorrow I'm going to put a better PvP build together. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, no, that's completely fucking pointless because TU3 is coming, and all the work I put into that build will be completely wiped away when the download finishes. It's
true, but then the other side is you're still going to be continuing to get loot if you're doing all the rest of it until the update comes out. So it's...
Well, I've been saving loot, like taking Rob's advice and keeping as many Alps pieces as I can get because they've got the single attribute rolls on. So the recal changes will help with any builds I've got, and then the builds that I want to put together.
Alps and Killer, keep them.
Yeah. So I'm preparing for TU3. I'm just not building in preparation for TU3 because we don't quite know where the goalposts are going to be set at, do we? So
no. Quite
right. Rob, next question, please.
This comes from Not Me Mister. Here's a possible discussion for next week's podcast. I can't claim credit for this as it was something Kirky81 mentioned in Boris's stream chat yesterday. When talking about the PvE DZ poll, he mentioned that maybe the type of content that is missing in PvE is something like Destiny 2 public events, either as an addition to the current LZ or as an addition. Wait, did I read that wrong? Addition, not addiction. As an addition to the current LZ or as an addition to the map or even a flyway missions. Is this something that we'd like to be added in the future?
Hold on. Let me just get that PvE addiction in me first. Do we want something like a Destiny 2 public event? Well, it depends what you define public event from Destiny 2. I mean, one of the cool things was the open world and the amount of players in that open world, which is something that the Division 2 doesn't currently have. It's a 4-man squad. You don't see any other agents apart from in the base of operations, checkpoints, and safe houses. Am I getting them right?
Did either of you play? No, you didn't.
Destiny 2?
No, you played Destiny 2, but after a certain expansion, there was a PvE, like, I wouldn't say raid event, but it had like 7 levels. I can't remember the name exactly, but you basically leveled up And then at the end of it was a massive, like, equivalent to a raid boss. And it took, when it first launched, you had to have 8 people there to take him down.
Yeah, because
At
I mean
least.
that's similar
least.
stuff to Warcraft, isn't it? I mean, that's where they're pulling their, not literally, but like, you know, they're influenced by games like Warcraft and the raids and stuff like that. The main thing that I would like to see, that I'd probably want to pull from Destiny, is like the open world activities, which we saw in Destiny 1. Something like, you know, when you saw the trailer, like this huge spider tank would drop down and you'd see all these guardians or other people trying to take it down, and having something like that in the Division 2 would be awesome. You know, imagine like a whole squad of Black Tusk turn up in, I don't know, Federal Triangle, and it gets invaded, and you just get 8 people and you have to go in and take it back, save it.
Yeah.
I think something like that would be really cool.
But imagine a control point that you could escalate to level 7, and you needed 8 people to do it.
Yeah.
And the last boss had mechanics to it.
I'd be down for stuff like that. I like doing PvE content like that,
IFM.
which is why I like the raid and all the rest of it.
Hashtag IFM.
IFM. Luke,
That was
I'm gonna move over to you.
That was quite a good idea, by the way. So not me, Mr. Put another question in. He says, regarding PvP, what additional types of PvP would you like to see come to conflict? Would you like to see more than the current 4v4 modes? He was thinking something like an escort mission where one side is Black Tusks escorting some cargo
Overwatch
doggos.
style, baby.
Yeah. So escorting some cargo doggos, like you see in Tidal Base, and the other side has to stop you, but make it 6v6 or even 8v8.
Mike's got a boner right now.
Well, I was playing Overwatch today, so
He's nursing a semi.
nothing. Yeah, I was playing Overwatch today, so I helped carry the payload. Yeah, definitely something more than the current 4v4 modes. I want squad deathmatch. I still want squad deathmatch. It would be fucking hell.
Team deathmatch.
I just think it's gonna be hell. You'd have 6v6.
Well, that's how I play anyway. So
yeah, I forget. You know, we're in a domination match, and Rob's like, "Nope, we're still in
we're
skirmish."
just killing them, right?
I think I did it the other way around last night, didn't I? I was like, I'll stay here and get point C. You're like, dude, it's just skirmish. Shit.
As long as they don't turn it into carry the fuse, fuck me. As long as they speed the fuse up or make it lighter than it was in the Division 1. Otherwise, that would be terrible. Can you
I
imagine
reckon
that?
an Overwatch style, like, payload sort of doggo thing would be a good idea. Like, similar to how domination works now. Like, you get them so far, you take a control point, that's like a checkpoint. You have to hold that, it moves on a little bit.
And you have to carry the fuse. There you go. Done.
Well, yeah, if for some reason, hang on, maybe if they disable the doggo, we have to like carry a fuse from somewhere to get.
Well, I was just thinking.
reactivated.
I'm just thinking
IFM.
of stuff. I'm just thinking of stuff that's already in the
Hashtag.
game. So you use domination, like you said. You start off at your spawn point. You grab the fuse. You take it to A, B, and C. It's already like technically that.
Say the doggo gets EMP'd and you have to reactivate him with a fuse.
So with a Black Tusk, are we
Yeah,
in this scenario? Right. Okay.
yeah, you could have BT versus agents.
What was the other mode? Main mode from Conquest and Rush? Plant the bomb.
That's essentially payload, though, isn't it? You're just having a bomb and moving on. It's essentially the same game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to some degree. Yeah.
Plant the bomb would
You have a
work in
long map and
Division.
you have to work along it.
6v6 maps of Plant the Bomb would work in Division.
That would work.
I've always been a fan of something like Capture the Flag as well.
Yes. Capture the flag would be good.
Yeah.
No PvE. at all. I don't want PvE and
No,
conflict.
but there isn't currently in conflict, is there? So yeah, just keep that.
Keep it the way it is.
Yes.
What about free for all?
No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, not with the current TTK. That wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't work.
I'd like to see it tested though,
It
just to
would've-
see how
it would've-
bad it was.
It would have worked in TD1, definitely.
What with everyone running strikers?
No, everyone running Nomad.
But yeah, it was a lot of people would solo the Dark Zone and
Yeah.
kill teams. So yeah, that was true.
Luke.
Hi.
How's it going?
Lol Saboteur says, what's the best way to get into the Dark Zone if you didn't play it in the Division 1 and have avoided it until now? I've been grinding to get my gear score up to 500 before I go in there, and now that I'm close, what's the best way to not get wrecked? Also, where the fuck do you find toy cars and other random trinkets? If you've listened this far to the podcast, you've probably heard us tell you to just grab your balls and go in the Dark Zone. That's literally the best advice I can give you at the moment. It's probably empty. One of the three will almost certainly be empty on your server. Just go and try it. If you get wrecked, go in with a team.
And don't worry about your gear score.
And yeah, don't worry too much about your gear score, but don't worry too much about getting wrecked either. I mean, yes, if you're walking out the door, getting wrecked, sent back to the checkpoint, walking out the door, getting wrecked.
Go to a different checkpoint.
I get it. It can be frustrating. So yes, go to a different checkpoint. Go to a different Dark Zone.
Go to a different Dark Zone.
Or, like we said earlier,
Change servers.
other than it being frustrating, it won't matter because most of your loot will just go straight into your bag, so you won't have to extract it as much as you used to in Division 1. So you'll still be progressing, if you like. As for the toy cars and random trinkets, I believe they're mostly random drops.
Open world, just farm it.
Yeah. Or do you mean the backpack trinkets that are hidden in missions? Like the bank mission, where you have to randomly search a pile of cash. Hint, hint.
Also, have a look at some builds, maybe. Have a look at some builds. I mean, it's not necessary, but you can do that. Look on YouTube. There's plenty of people putting out builds, or just
Wids, Nick too.
put something together that you think's half decent and run in there. Your gear score's not detrimental. It's
Irrelevant.
It's just a number at the end of the day. So, and have fun. Go have fun. It's just a game. It's not important. They're just numbers at the end of the day. If you lose, it doesn't matter.
Your Dark Zone rank is irrelevant.
True. Robert.
Yes. Oh, Not Me Mister has another question. Greedy bastard. So, by liking what you guys do on the podcast, does that make me a elitist fanboy? Yes, it does. Well done. Good job.
Okay, and finally, some nice feedback off the back of last week's brutality. It comes from Parker Ashton, who says, Hey guys, first time listener here. The podcast was solid, and I think there should be a piece of content called the SITREP shopping list, because I think we were talking about shopping lists last week, I do believe. Could be a clean infographic that players could use themselves during the week. Love the humor, conversation, and transparency. Apologies for joining us on that episode. It was a bit of a brutal first episode for anyone to kind of jump in, but the fact you enjoyed it still means a lot. Any other thoughts, comments on that before we move on?
What's your shopping list this week, guys?
Everything.
Well, greedy as fuck, Mike. Okay, Luke?
Alps
Alps.
stuff. Gila stuff. And fuck it, blue mods.
I'm
joking about blue mods.
I want blue mods with 6% assault rifle damage. And I also want a Fenris chest that has 1 skill, 1 utility talent, 1 armor talent, and 1 damage talent with Berserk and
Wow.
the one that gives you 10% extra health.
Wow, you're not asking for anything there, are you?
I'm being very specific.
Most specific shopping list in the history of mankind.
The thing is, Parker, you should listen to us when we're in chat, because these guys would be like, oh, I need this, and I need this. I've got it. Don't want it.
You mean Twitch?
Shit rolls.
Twitch, right? Twitch chat.
Yeah. Well, any chat in general.
I just remembered I want on my shopping list one of the chest pieces that Mike got earlier in the week that had 20% crit chance on it.
Yes, it did. I forgot about that.
I want one of those, and I want them now.
That's Alps, dude. Alps.
I've favorited that, and I will not be doing anything with it till title update 3.
I've got an Alps chest with 18.5% crit chance, and I think it's got 7.5% damage as well.
I hate you both.
But it's just a game. Doesn't matter. You can loot some more. And also, we had some feedback from Quinch's theory last week on Predators already being in the Division 2. Last week, we discussed the fact that agents were being strung up in several of the missions, and he was kind of alluding to the fact that Predators were behind this. So we've actually had some feedback on that theory from last week from Indio Techno.
Oh, so that's what he meant.
Yes, I think. Where the fuck were you for last week's podcast?
I honestly didn't know what he was going on about.
You didn't get the bit. I'm pretty sure we said get to the chopper.
Yeah, but no, I didn't. No.
If it bleeds, kill it.
No.
Come on, kill me. Do it now. Did we not say these things? If we didn't say these things last week, then I apologize. But he did say, I think the Predator theory could be for survival. DC is on a swamp. Maybe it will be off the main map in a new location. So instead of trying to stay warm, you've got to stay cool and cover yourself in mud so the Predator can't see you with its heat vision. Just a wild, crazy thought. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much for sending that in. I kind of like it. I can't see it happening.
Not gonna happen. It's not going to happen.
Could you imagine if we had Predators in the Division 2? Do you think people would lose their shit with the fact that they were in there in the first place? Or would people kind of be cool with it?
I'd be okay if there was a side mission with him in. Or them in. Him. Them.
What if they send a female one?
What if it's like an alien freaking
hybrid?
I think that would be cool if there was a side mission. If there was a whole game
hybrid
mode based on it, I think that might be a little bit too far. Maybe.
What if at some point you go into like the underground and you go into like a cave system and there's like a shitload of eggs and they all start like shaking? And
what if it's a hunter-predator hybrid? It's a predator with an axe.
I think Mike was alluding to aliens, so would it be an alien predator hunter hybrid?
It's just, yeah, it's the hybrid predator.
It's a hunter that has heat vision and bleeds acid.
Be AVPVH.
With an axe.
With an axe. And can control your skills if you deploy them.
Is he wearing the agent's watches as well?
And so yeah, he's wearing your watches.
Mask? Hunter mask?
Because he needs to know what time it is in every single district.
Of outer space.
In the world.
In the world. Not outer space.
In the universe.
Right. Okay.
Has to have alien time.
That's a lot of watches.
Hunter time, agent time. Mike's mum's time.
What about my dad? Sorry, intro.
What about hammer time?
Hammer time.
Yes.
Axe time. Splinter time.
I just remember. I was wondering what the fuck you're on about. That's Splinter time. No, you do realize no one's going to get that. Anyway, thank you to everyone who sent in questions and feedback this week. That's been fucking awesome. Where can the listeners find us, Robert?
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter. Twitter? Shit. I've already fucked up. On Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts on Twitter. We don't have personal accounts on Facebook or YouTube.
We use Twitter.
We use Twitter. Yeah, it's the new Twitter. Send any Questions or feedback to Mike, shut up. For the show at SITREP Radio pod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places. Luke?
You all right, Mike? Am I okay to continue? You look like you're about to cry.
I feel so sorry for him having to read that out every week because I don't know if it's getting better or worse. Was that better or worse than
That was
last week?
definitely worse.
When how many weeks ago was it when he absolutely nailed it and he was like, quick, record it because I'm never going to say it that good again? And we probably should have listened to him.
I think he's deteriorated since.
Possibly.
Are you okay, Rob?
He has had a bottle of wine tonight, so
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Have you had a stroke?
I mean, what he did before the camera turned on is his business, mate. Anyway, please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We genuinely enjoy reading each and every one of them and tearing them to shreds if they are negative. The feedback is excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. You changed it. I wasn't expecting it to have changed. If you listen all the way to the very end of the show, you'll hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
We do live stream as often as we can, so if you are interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play some of the Division 2 and some other games, but probably not some other games at the minute, twitch.tv/SITREP Radio on the Twinterwebs is where you can find us.
Twinterwebs.
We have been SITREP Radio. Robert, give us a cheeky, creepy wink and say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. We'll catch you next week.
Sequence complete. Security protocols deactivated. Server data replaced and CPU destroyed. Terminating connection in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.